What's up? So I'm just sitting here watching ESPN. I just barely got in from taking care of some business, but interested, man. I mean, Ward is retiring. I know a few other channels have already done videos on this topic, but I just wanted to chime in on it, man, and get some stuff off my chest about that. I think it's a good move for Ward. Hopefully, he can continue to. Let me turn this down in the background. Hopefully, he can hold out, man, and just stay retired. I don't think he will, but um, it's not. It was nothing left for him if you really think about it. Light heavyweight division is not stacked. You have some talent there. I think he could have made a fight with Stevenson, but again, it would have been a lot of politics in that fight due to Stevenson not wanting to leave Canada and Ward not wanting to obviously leave Las Vegas or to leave California to go and take a fight like that. So there would have been a lot of politics in that fight, and then too you got to realize that the money was not there for that type of fight. You got to understand the differences between fan fights and what makes business sense. Um, I hope you guys understand that, man. And if you don't, then you're gonna get a little lesson today. Um, Fan fights. We've been watching this sport for a long time. Those of us that are really into boxing avidly. 20 years, 30 years. However long you've been around. I've been around uh, watching boxing since the '80s. So I've seen a lot of fights. I saw boxing when it was viewed as something that had to be done precisely. It's always been a business, but back then it was about putting the best in with the best. Um, Especially in the '80s, learning, growing up and learning and developing and listening to those that were a lot older than I was, watching the sport and monitoring every little detail about the sport. So I was taught how to view the sport. Even the broadcasting, the analysts were different back then. They were all about the pureness of the technique, where a boxer came from, Philly, the Philly shell, guys coming from New York, the Bronx, guys coming from all over the United States, boxing all over the world. So it was all about where you came from and things of that nature. I don't want to get too far off of what this topic is about, but it was more serious back then, more so than it was about business. Don't get me wrong; it's still a business. It's always gonna be a business, but um, now it's all about making money, making the big name fights. Um, Giving these guys multiple years to prepare, to build a narrative, to build the suspense in the fans, to keep all of the drama swelling up so that people will start to demand for the fight, and then they can go ahead and do a pay-per-view. It's only been a few fights that have been pay-per-view worthy, in my opinion. At least I would say over the last 10 years. The rest of these fights definitely have not truly been pay-per-view worthy. I have supported them. I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan, so I was always gonna support Floyd on his pay-per-view ventures. Uh, Andre Ward and Kovalov, it could have been pay-per-view worthy, but nah. Canelo Triple G shouldn't have been a pay-per-view fight. It had the opportunity to be big had they waited at least another year longer, but we all knew that it was coming down to them making the fight. It was really nothing else left for Canelo to do, really nothing else left for Triple G to do as far as competition is concerned. And and also putting together big money fights. There was nothing else left for them to do. What direction for them to go in? Yeah, you can take on a fan fight and fight the best guys that are out there. Honestly, the last time we heard the number one contender getting in the ring with somebody was in that Pacquiao fight with Jeff Horn. Other than that, you haven't really heard who is the ranked number 4 or ranked number 5 top 10, who are the top 10 guys. You have to go and check that information for yourself, because that information doesn't sell to the public. It doesn't matter to the public who's ranked what, who's pound for pound what. You know, you hear them talking pound for pound, but the only time people truly care about pound for pound rankings is when the hype is surrounding the fighter and they're undefeated or what have you. But when the hype is surrounding the fighter, media hype, and it's surrounding the fighter, then they start talking this pound for pound stuff, and that's something that most fans don't really know anything about. Not even really fans, but just people that are just tuning in. They don't really truly understand how pound for pound goes, and who rates this stuff, who's putting these rankings together. They don't really understand that. So it just sounds good. It's something to talk about. I can get into a lot of other things because I really, really want to, but I don't want to make this video longer than it should be. But it just wouldn't make business sense for Andre Ward to stick around. Who is he gonna fight that's gonna generate the type of money that he feels that he's worth? Nobody. There's nobody left that's going to generate a million pay-per-view buys, 2 million pay-per-view buys, 3 million and up. There's nobody else left that the public really wants to spend that type of money on, to make a pay-per-view 60, 70, 80, maybe even $100. Nobody wants to pay that type of money for a pay-per-view event. So if you're not willing to pay that type of money for pay-per-view, then you might as well get the advertisers to pay for it, put that stuff on PBC, and let's go for it, or let ESPN take care of it. But you see what I'm saying? It just didn't make business sense for him to stick around. I saw today Kovalev calling him out again for a third fight. And that right there doesn't even make any sense. In my opinion, he lost both fights. The first fight, he let Ward off the hook. He had him, and he didn't finish him. And Ward continued to outbox him for 7 or 8 straight rounds. So it was just, he came in as a one-trick pony. Hold on one sec. Got a call coming in, I had to decline that. But he was a one-trick pony coming in. We all knew he was about his power. He was gonna try to bully Ward and walk him down and do all of this stuff, and it didn't work out for him. Ward was ready. He was on his toes. He was boxing. He was moving, and Kovalev just didn't have an answer for him. He didn't have a plan B or a plan C. He didn't say, hey, if this guy tries to box me on the inside, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn him around. I'm going to take him to the center of the ring, and I'm going to outbox him, outwit him, or I'm going to land. He didn't plan for anything that Ward brought to him. He didn't plan for it. So he ended up losing just the way that he planned for the fight. He lost in that same fashion, unprepared. So, do I agree with the retirement? Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with the retirement, man. I think that it was his time. I thought he would have done it before he took the second fight with Kovalev. I thought he was going to retire then, but I could see where to him it made business sense to get in there one more time, knowing that the public was kind of crying out after the first victory he received. People were questioning, did he really win? So it makes sense to come off of that looking like a quote unquote loser in some people's eyes and looking like a winner in the others, and therefore creating this narrative that this guy is really a loser. Let's see what he can do this time, and get back in there and do it again, So sorry about my lazy t-shirt, man. But I know men ain't really paying attention to that type of stuff anyway. But yeah, man, he got in there and he took care of business and he got paid. But who is he gonna stick around for? I'm gonna try to end this now, man. But you guys let me know, who was he gonna stick around for and generate 3 million and up from? Who were they gonna build up to the height that Kovalev had, or that a Triple G has, or that a Canelo has. Nobody's going to be on Floyd level for quite some time. So we can keep going with some of these names. Pacquiao, who's going to even be on a Pacquiao level? Uh, who's going to be on a Keith Thurman level? The only thing that he had going for him, it would probably have been to move up in weight, and that would have been a mistake. He would be out on his back, just like Roy Jones Jr. was against Antonio Tarver. You know, when he decided to go up and try to defend the heavyweight title, big mistake. And I just didn't want to see him go out like that. Anyway, man, hit me up. Let me know what you guys think. Sorry for the long video. I just had to get that off my chest, man. You guys want any other discussions? You want other topics? Let me know, man, and we can go ahead and hash them out. Love boxing. Love y'all. Stay up.